When learning to snowboard, progression with your skills and interests open up to all sorts of new tricks, resorts, and gear. Snowboarding is something I feel that everyone should experience. When driving through the mountains, it feels like an escape from your worries and you're surrounded by a wonderland of snow. It feels like there are no rules on the mountain, so it's party time all the time. If you have any interest in picking up this sport, this speech will make anyone a pro when it comes to hitting that fresh pow-pow for your first time. Also, if you think that where you live it is not possible to snowboard anywhere, then trust me when I say there's thousands of ski resorts around the world. When learning how to snowboard, progression with your skills and interests open up to all sorts of new tricks, resorts, and gear. I've been snowboarding for over 3 years now and have visited many ski resorts, including California's most famous resort, Mammoth Mountain. For my skill level, I would say I'm a little above average, but it depends on what resorts I go to, because there's some resorts where just everyone's pro. First, I will discuss the tricks, pathways, and obstacles to try out. Second, I will discuss the difference in resorts and which is best for you. Finally, what gear should be worn to make the experience most comfortable. When learning how to snowboard, progression with your skills and interests open up to all sorts of new tricks, resorts, and gear. The first time anyone experiences snowboarding, it takes a little while to pick up on. Balance and gravity is key to understanding when going down the mountain. Unless you have the muscle memory from skateboarding or surfing, then it is known that to turn on a snowboard, you must put yourself at risk of falling by purposely losing your balance and leaning with the mountain. The edges on a snowboard is what makes it catch the ground and turn. The way the body leans, either toes or heels, is how to decide which way the board turns. So here, I brought my board, and I'm just going to discuss how to turn. So if you see, there is a metal edge on every snowboard, and when you're coming down, what the metal edge does is catch the snow. So if you're trying to go left, you lean back and to your heels, and that goes left. And then if you want to go right, you lean to your toes, to your chest, and you go right. And the metal is what catches the snow. Based on your skill, choosing the right path and obstacles is how you become much better. It is important to not try anything too rash without working your way up, or you can get hurt. When heading down the mountain, signs with symbols are put up to show the steepness and whether or not jumps are ahead. A double or black double diamond means that the hill is at most decline, but symbols or jumps and other park obstacles are based on the resort accommodations. Also, there are boxes and railings that skilled snowboarders are used to slide on to make the experience more fun and challenging. But the most fun is when snowboarding through trees and you just make your own path. That's the best. Snowboarding can be expensive depending on whether you snowboard long term or just want to try out for a weekend. I recommend never renting anything, but getting friends to lend you stuff until you buy everything you need. Renting can be cheap if you're just trying it out, but once you buy everything you need, it's like snowboarding for free. Ski lift tickets that get you up the mountain are way overpriced, so if you will be snowboarding all season, then get a season pass. There's also a global pass called Icon Pass. This lets you attend 3 major resorts in California, including other states and all other countries. If you like to travel, then I recommend buying this pass. Now to discuss how to ride a snowboard and which experience will best fit you. If you're confused where you should go out and try snowboarding, then I'll explain the convenient resort for you and what to expect when seeing a resort for the first time. There are thousands of resorts around the world, and if you live in California like me, there's 35 resorts in the state. The most popular in Southern California and most convenient is Big Bear Mountain, located in Big Bear City. From the bottom of the mountain, it only takes 45 minutes to an hour to get to the resort. It has 3 different entry points to the mountain, so coming from any direction is convenient. When heading up mountains, it is always best to have a car that is 4-wheel drive or has a good pair of tires. If the road is icy, chains that go on your tires are recommended for your safety, and they're easy to put on. If you're wondering what a resort looks like, then think of a big lodge with restaurants, renting centers, and chairlifts that are ready to bring you up. Chairlifts are how you were brought up to the top of the mountain by getting in line with your snowboard strapped on and letting this seat hooked to a wire, powered by a machine, come behind you and scoop you off your feet. The lifts don't usually take too long depending on how high you go. At bigger and more financially structured resorts, the lifts are very fancy. Some lifts are like a cocoon that you can just walk in, holding your board, without it being strapped to your feet. The most famous ski resort of all of California is Mammoth Mountain, which is in Northern California. I visit this resort from time to time because it is expensive and hard to plan a trip with my time availability and location. Mammoth has 3,500 acres of terrain, while Big Bear only has 750 acres. It is absolutely beautiful if you ever visited the city. There's a gondola that takes you over all the houses right to the resort. There's 28 lists at Mammoth and only 5 at Big Bear. So if you were looking for a real adventure, then I would recommend going to Mammoth Mountain or the biggest resort near you. Once you have figured out which resort best fits you, then it's time to gear up. The right outfit and board is essential for a good experience. Depending on how cold it is, the outfits can get intense sometimes. The temperature get below 20 degrees, it is best for you to cover any skin that's showing, especially your lips. The wind makes your lips dry quick, so pack some chapstick and a ski mask or mouth cover. Goggles or shades are important because the sun is bright, and when it reflects off the white snow, it can burn your eyes. And you do not want sunburnt eyes, trust me. Sometimes you can't even sleep. When it's freezing, you want a heavy jacket because cold winds are common. A weatherproof jacket and pants are what you should wear when you fall, so your clothes don't get all damp. Depending on what you would prefer, people either wear gloves or mittens. Gloves give your fingers more mobility, but mittens keep your hands warmer because your fingers are all touching each other. When it comes to boots and board, size is important. Boot sizes come the same as shoe sizes, but every boot company is made different. Sometimes socks can take up space and jam your toes, so when testing out new boots, wear snow socks. For your board, you want a board to be as tall as reaching your chin. So as you can see, mine doesn't actually reach my chin, but I just prefer a shorter board for tricks. Once you got all your gear suited and ready, it's time to call up the boys and hit those slopes. Today I discussed the tricks, pathways, and obstacles to try out. Second, I discussed the difference in resorts and which is best for you. Finally, I discussed what gear should be worn to make the experience most comfortable. When learning how to snowboard, progression with your skills and interests open up to all sorts of new tricks, resorts, and gear. Snowboarding is truly a fun way to make new friends and become even better friends. That resort that suits you becomes your second home and stores all sorts of memories with your pals. When you begin to drive up that mountain every weekend, what I want for you to have in mind is it's not all just about the destination, it's the journey too.